Good morning, everyone. This is Herb from the Herb Swamp, and today we're going to be talking about the Red Jaboticaba, which is the Plinia Cauliflora hybrid. Now, the red is a lot more precocious, much more prolific, fruits at a much younger age. So with the typical Sabra Jaboticaba, you can expect fruiting anywhere between 7 to 12 years. It can take quite a while. With this variety, you're gonna find that it fruits anywhere between 3 to about 5 years. Sometimes 6, it just depends, but usually you'll find it fruits much sooner. So here's a good look at the trunk here and the canopy. And this tree needs at least about 3 hours of Florida sun. Maybe can get away with a little bit less. If you're further north, you're definitely going to need to give it more. But overall, it's a very shade tolerant tree. Beautiful canopy. And overall, it does great in part shade. Now, for soil moisture, you're definitely going to want to keep it moist. But unlike what you've heard on the internet, you do need to give it some dry periods, because the roots will rot away if they're just sitting in moisture. I actually had another red before this, and it did die due to root rot. So you'll hear all the time to keep a saucer underneath with water. I do not honestly think that's a great idea. I think that this tree does love moisture and tolerates it much more than others, but it does want to dry out, and it does want well-drained soil just like any other fruit tree. Now, drought tolerance for this tree is pretty minimal. It doesn't really love to be dry. A good indicator of that would be the leaf tips. You'll see browning on the leaf tips. If it's too wet, you'll see dark leaf tips. So look out for those two indicators. It fruits randomly throughout the year, so there isn't a specific season, but I would say I see more fruiting during those transition periods between hot and cold, cold and hot. Usually fall and spring are the most prolific. And cold does seem to influence it a little bit more. When you have cooler winters, it seems to fruit a little bit better. So with this tree, it's a heavy yielder. It yields about 4 times a year sometimes, versus the Sabra, which is about 2. So keep that in mind. And with that, the heavy yielding, you're gonna have to keep up with the fertilizing if it's gonna be in a container like this. So you're gonna have to fertilize a lot more than you would with the Sabra, and this plant will tolerate that. Flavor is very good, very grape-like, similar to the Sabra, a little different though. The skin is much thinner, and it's easier to enjoy whole, so it's not that thick resinous skin. It has, like I said, some decent cold tolerance. It takes down to about 25. You're gonna wanna grow this in zones 9 through 11, but you can maybe push it to zone 8. Definitely can grow it in the higher zones if you grow this in a greenhouse for sure. The mature height's about 25 feet or so, but it typically won't get that tall here in Florida. Even in the ground, it's probably gonna get to about 15 feet. In a container, you can contain it, and it seems to fruit more in containers. So this is a great container tree, in my opinion. It's self-fertile, has no chill requirements. This is the Red Jaboticaba, and this is the Herb Swamp. You guys have a good day.